Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar, which is a 20-minute one with a deeper dive into Dynaway EAM for Business Central. And today is the 2nd of March, which means that we will be talking about failure registration. And we have a few slides just to cover briefly here in the beginning, and then I'll hand it over to my colleague Christoph, like you see it here on the picture on the left. So Christoph is our team lead for Dynaway EAM for BC, and I'll be here. My name is Mikkel, and I head up the commercial part of our business. There will mainly be a product presentation today, and then everything is recorded. It is placed in the same location as the other videos that we have for the 20-minute session. I'll take a wrap up on that at the end. And then we also have a new list of webinars coming up for the future. But with that short introduction, I'll hand it over to you, Christoph. You take it away.
Thank you, Mikkel. I hope you all see the screen.
Yes.
So today, failure registration. So there is a small setup which we need to do that. But first, what is that? So when we doing a maintenance order, work order, and we would like to register what was the failure of the why we did it, the maintenance, what was the reason, and what is the action which we take, right? So what you can find in the work order setup, there is a failure registration here on the bottom, and there are three things which we can register, we can set up. One is the problem codes. So that's very simple list. You have failures, you have code and description. So for example, my problem is that I cannot switch the lamp, right? Or my mixer does not work. Maybe I should use error as well here, and other. So I can have many of such failures, right? The next thing is that the problems. I can have different reasons of those problems, right? So my list of all the reasons which I can have is that I don't have a power, the bulb is wrong, the old and switch is broken. So small failures and reasons which we can have. So if we already know what is the problem, what is the reason, then the last thing which we have is an action, right? So I can have a list also of all my actions which are available. So I need to change the bulb, I need to change the component, or maybe there's other one which I need to choose, right? So let me just very simple create. So that's one setup. The other setup which we can do is somehow connect those three things together. And one option which we can do is on the asset categories. So if we go to the UV lamps, you can see on the asset category, we have the fast tab here, the failure codes. And here I can put any combinations which are possible. So for example, I can have a problem which is cannot switch, and I can have two reasons for that. One is that we don't have power, and the second is that the old bulb is used. So my action can be the same for both the same reasons. So if we want to be able to choose only the reasons from the or problem, reason, and action, this combination from a list which is defined, you can do it on asset category. The system will not allow you to use another combination of those three fields, right, on the work order. If you will leave this section blank, I will also show you what you can do with that. Then you will be able to choose any combination which we have from any list. So that's one setup which you can do. The second setup which can be done is that on the asset management setup, there is one setup here. It says failure registration required on work order. And you have three options here. Either you never require the failure registration, then system will allow you to close the work order without any failure registration. The other option which I use mostly is that for all corrective maintenance, I will need to do it, right? So system will not allow me to close the work order if I will not have the combination of problem, reason, and action. And the last one is that always you need to do it, right? So it doesn't matter if it's preventive or corrective, you always need to put the values there. In some cases, that can also be useful. So how we register it? Let's go and create some work order. So I will do it very easy from the my asset tree, and I will create for my lamp, sorry, the work order. So let's say that we need to change the bulb. And we need to have a category here, so let's do the lamp change. So I created the work order. Let's imagine that I already finished it. I would like to specify that Doi was working and he did some part replacement, and it took him 1 hour. And now I would like to close the work order. So let me just pause and close the work order. And as you can see, I have the new window, which shows me all the failure codes section, which I didn't fill before. That's why I see it. So I cannot close it without filling that. And what I can do, I can choose my problem. So I can have only one problem here, even if I had more on the in the problem dictionary, but this is because I have on the UV lamp category defined problems, and I also have defined reasons. So I have those two. So I have no power, and I can specify that my action is a bulb. Why it's on the list? It's not only 3 fields, because we allows also put many problems, many reasons, and many actions to the same work order, right? So you can have more than one problem, reason, and action assigned to the work order. So now when I close it, I choose it, system allows me to close the work order. And I would like to show you what is the difference if we, for example, using asset category which doesn't have those problem, reason, and action defined. So if I will go, for example, mixer is not working, and I would like to replace or do something, for example, or maybe lamp change is not the good one, the part replace. So let me create again work order, and let's say that Daffy was working on it. He did some electric work, and it was 3 hours. So now let's again pause and close it. So now you can see that in the problems, I have more on the list, so I can mix it. I can choose other, and I can choose the reason, and I also will see all of my reasons if I didn't set up it on the asset category. So I know that it doesn't make sense, but I can choose all the bulb or also this reason, but I will switch is broken. And the action, you also see the whole list of the actions. Due to that, we don't have it set up on the list, on the asset category. So let me choose other as well. Okay, I close it. So that is how you can do it. Of course, we can see the history of the failures, problems, reasons which we had on the and actions which we had on the asset, but not only from the asset. So if I will go to the assets, and let me just only choose one asset which I remember that I register something, we can go to the related, and then we have failure codes. So this will show me all the failures which we had when we closed them, what was the problems, what was the reasons, and what is the actions which we took. Of course, from here we can also open the posted work order, so our history, and here I also can choose the failure reasons as well, which were for the posted work order at that time. So that's one place where you can see the history. But if, for example, you create a request or asset downtime entry for the asset, and then you register also the failure for my work order. So you can see that this is my work order. It's connected to the asset downtime. It has the failures as well, but I also can see the failures directly from the asset downtime. So you can see that I have posted failures, and here I can see the same. So I can see the asset number, problem, reason, and action. Right? What was related to this and downtime? The same you would see from the request, asset request. Additionally, we also created a report which you can get from the work orders here. It's called Failures by Assets. And when reading this, running this report, you can also filter the asset number, of course, or for example, what were the problems? You can filter also on the problems, and you can preview and close or print it, or you can just send it to Excel as well, and then see the data in Excel. So let me just do it quickly. And let's open the Excel. So as you can see, I have also my report, which shows me all the assets, description, what were the problems, what was the reason, and what was the action, of course, with the descriptions as well. I can see when my work order was closed with this, and when what was the work order, posted work order number. We also can see that what is the time consumed by the resource based on our work order. So if you have the work order for with 5 or 6 people which were working, you always can see how much time it took to solve the problem on this reason and this action. So that was very quick about this topic. So I will back to you, Mikael, and let me just open the presentation.
Thank you very much. Sometimes we run over time. This time it was a little bit shorter, but we do have a little bit of information here at the end. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat log, and we can see if we can still make it to answer those questions. But basically, there's a long list of on-demand webinars. So basically, the previous ones that we had are all listed here. Obviously, we try to fill as many as possible, so we'll have a full video library with different concepts and content of our platform. The last one here on the list is, of course, the one that we had today. And on the next slide, you can see all of the upcoming ones. So we will have 4 new ones on the list: work order checklist, register contractors work, and asset downtime entries, maintenance budgets, and statistics. And I wouldn't say that we will end it there. That's at least the list for now. If you have any requirements to see something else, once we renew the list, please feel free to get back to us, and we will include as well. But I really urge you to register for these webinars if you find them useful and if you want to see the specific ones. Otherwise, like mentioned before, they will always be recorded, and you can always reach out to us in case if there is any information that you need, and we'll be really happy to help. Having said that, the last slide here on the list is, of course, our website. So if you go to dynaway.com, you can find a lot of useful information. There are different blogs on different subjects. If you also go to help.dynaway.com, you'll find a whole library of different information. So having said that, I really want to thank you for attending this webinar, and we hope to see you very soon again, and wishing you a fantastic day. Thank you very much.